Warzone 2 is happening, and if you've been wondering why it's happening or what they hope to achieve, this video today should help you quite a lot. Now, the very confirmation of the existence of Warzone 2 actually points to a lot of things about Call of Duty Warzone that are going to change in the very immediate future when Warzone 2 releases in either late 2022 or early 2023. And in this video today, I'm going to explain all of those significant changes and why things are going to go how they're going to go. Now, there is a little bit of bad news when it comes to Warzone 2, and that is that the current version of Warzone definitely isn't going to get a next generation port. They're not going to spend time and effort and resources on getting Call of Duty Warzone to run better on PS5, Series S, and Series X because they are creating a new Warzone specifically for those titles. And if you are on previous generation consoles, Warzone 2 very most likely won't be on the previous generation of consoles. So why is this happening? Well, the simple fact of the matter is that Warzone was only ever designed and intended for a year's worth of release. The reason why you never saw a new map after Verdansk and got Verdansk 84, and the reason why Warzone has always been quite sluggish in terms of major updates, is because the way Warzone was designed and coded was for it to only exist for a year and not much longer. We know for a fact that Treyarch were developing Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and that was intended to release with Black Ops Cold War. That was the full plan. They had no intention of maintaining Warzone for beyond a year because they simply didn't anticipate how successful Warzone was going to be. Now, you've got to bear in mind, this is the day and age where, projects are planned 3 to 4 years in advance, so Call of Duty Black Ops 2 and Call of Duty Warzone were already planned ideas, and the intention was only that these games were going to exist for a year. And with that has come a lot of challenges. Warzone was never designed to receive multiple updates all the time. It was never designed to receive major content updates and playlist changes like Halloween and Christmas and all these various different things that people expect from Warzone. And because of that, it's probably taken a lot of work from Raven Software just to get the game to where it is now. Just to update things regularly, just to balance things regularly, just to do things that are fairly simple, have probably taken a lot of effort because the game wasn't designed in that way. So the most substantial change is that we're finally getting a product that is designed for the long term. The way this game is going to be coded, networked, the way things are going to work generally speaking, is that this game is going to be predestinedly planned to be a long-term product, meaning that they should be able to do things that at the moment they can't do, like vaulting weapons without requiring an update, or modifying the power of individual weapons without requiring an update, or just doing things that you would expect from something like Fortnite, where the content comes in and out of the game so seamlessly, things are balanced relatively quickly, and changes can be made on the fly. That's something that's not possible in Warzone. It always requires a client update, and because it always requires a client update, it always requires certification, so they have to get it from Microsoft and PlayStation and say that this update's okay. It also means that they have to test it so frequently, so this is definitely a change that they'll want to make. And with that, it also means new content like weapons, weapon skins, and even map changes, map updates, or new maps entirely should be more seamless. The next major thing is pulling the game into a unified realm. This huge discrepancy that we have right now between PlayStation, Xbox, and PC is FOV, graphical settings, and clarity. The game looks 100 times better on PC, runs faster, runs with higher frame rates, and has an FOV slider. And these options should be available to next-gen console players, but simply aren't. And the reason for that is because they've had to cater towards the previous generation of consoles and never bothered making an individual next-gen port for Warzone. That should change this time around, and hopefully it will be next generation only, meaning that less limitations can be applied to the hardware. With newer hardware like the Series X, PS5, and modern PCs, they should be able to do things with the player count, the physics in the game, what's possible with the map, possibly even introducing things like destruction, for example, and all of this should be possible within a next generation version of Warzone that's less dependent on ancient hardware like the PS4 and Xbox One. The next obvious thing, for example, is the introduction of the updated IW8 version. Now, the IW8 version powers Warzone, powers Vanguard, and powers Modern Warfare 2019, But of course, as they continue to have more time with the engine, they can make things look better, make animations look better, make physics work better, optimize it more, and just make everything look and feel more modern, more realistic, and better than it already is. And that will definitely apply to Call of Duty Warzone. I think we'll see a pretty substantial graphical upgrade in some places. And I think now that they're aware of how important performance is within Warzone, for example, you'll probably see a pretty big performance boost as well. We'll also naturally see improvements that they've learned from Warzone and Warzone 1 in terms of map design, in terms of player count, in terms of the types of modes people enjoy. Hopefully we might even see a Warzone ranked if we're lucky. And it just seems to be that Warzone has, in effect, what people haven't realized, tend to have been a sort of zombie title. It was a title that was held up and held together by numerous development teams, but wasn't meant to be held up long term. And Warzone 2 very much looks like this is the new experience, this is the long-term experience, here's all the lessons we learned from the first Warzone, here's how we're going to make the map better, here's how we're going to increase the player count, here's how performance is going to get better, and throwing it all in one place. And of course, they get to ditch the previous generation of hardware as well, or at the bare minimum provide a much more scaled down version, meaning that the game doesn't have to run on super old hardware, and consoles won't be held back because of that. So those are the major and substantial changes you'll see with Warzone 2. I think you'll definitely see more of an emphasis on creating a polished and well-made title that caters towards the future than you have seen before, because that is the goal here. And of course, Infinity Ward tend to produce some of the most polished stuff in terms of the Call of Duty industry. So folks, I hope that explains some of the things regarding Warzone 2, and I hope it makes things a little bit easier to understand why this is happening, what the goals are here, and what will ultimately be achieved. Ultimately, in the grand scheme of things, it appears as though Warzone 2 is the next generation upgrade that is going to make things better quite substantially in some places. So folks, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to drop a like, drop a subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.